Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this HP Pavilion x360 convertible model 14-BA253CL. So first thing we're going to do is remove these little rubber pieces, okay? So let's go ahead and get under. I just used my fingernail. You can use a little pry tool or whatever works for you, okay? Just like this. Alright. Let's see if there's anything under these two. Okay, there's nothing under this rubber foot. And probably nothing under this one, but we'll check just to be safe. Yep, nothing under there. Alright, so we got the two back ones, and then there might be a hidden screw underneath this. So it looks like this part flexes more, so most likely it's underneath there. I don't know a way to super cleanly remove this, but what I do is I just get a needle here. Okay, and then I kind of push down on that to kind of flex it so it goes inward some. And then I'll try and get the needle in there, in that little gap that it creates. Okay, again, it's gonna make a little dent on there on that little plastic cover. So we're just gonna get in there. Okay. Okay, and then pop it up. There we go. Just like that, and there we go. See, I don't know how to get it out super cleanly. You can see there's a little dent in there, but yeah, I'm gonna bend it back a little bit, but I don't know of a way to make it where you can remove that without causing any damage at all. But anyways, let's go ahead and remove the screws here. So the three screws back here are PH1 or JIS1 screws. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Alright, if you mix them up, you can damage the computer. It looks like this screw in the middle here is a skinnier screw than the two on the outer edges. Alright, and then we're going to remove the front screws using a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver, right? So we have to switch. This uses smaller screws. Let me actually zoom out a little bit here. Oops, that's a lot, but that's fine. Alright, once we get these three screws out, we're going to have to pop this cover off. Oh, looks like we got a package. Okay, so we got those out. Now let's go ahead and remove this bottom cover. So the way you do that, we'll open this up. As you can see, there's a gap here between the palm rest and then the plastic here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get my fingernails in that gap. And then I'm going to use my thumbs on the back to push on it while I kind of pull with my fingernails. Let's see if I can do this. I just recently trimmed my fingernails, so they're shorter than usual, but let's see. Okay, looks like it's coming out. There we go. Okay. So this computer's having weird issues. The fan is pretty noisy, and then the battery's not lasting very long. I was also told the wireless was kind of cutting out every so often. So we're just going all the way around, same thing. Just pulling with my fingers and then pushing with my thumbs. You can use pry tools to do this, but I find this works a lot easier. Okay, so that's what I do. Okay, wow, that edge is really stuck. Okay, that edge is super stuck in there. We got the front edge out. As you can see, now there's a gap here. Okay, and then the other side also came out, but for some reason one side is a lot more difficult. So there's actually, it seems like there's some clips underneath in the middle. Let's see if we can continue pulling this side out here. Okay, it is coming out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Wow, that's stuck pretty strong. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to open this thing up. This is a 360 model, so let's see. Let's go ahead and pull this all the way backwards. And then, let's see if we can kind of pull this out now. So, here you can see this part is separating a lot, but it's still being held in really strong. Okay, so let's go ahead and try pulling this. There's no more screws, so I don't know what else could be holding it other than strong clips. But these clips appear to be very strong. So let's see, this side is coming out easier, the left side. So here you can see All right, it's popping up. Let's go ahead and go to the back side here. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's working. All right, so getting my fingernails in the gap there and then pushing on the hinge area where it doesn't move. And there we go. It looks like it's popping all forward, so it works best to pull it up from the back side. And we got cables under there, so there's going to be a little tricky how to show this. Let's see. Okay, I think I can do it this way. So I'm going to open the screen slightly to use this to prop it up, and you can see now we can kind of open this, and you want to be careful because there are these cables underneath. So we got this one cable here. Actually, is it easier to show it sideways like this? No. Not really. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to show this. So we're going to open this slightly. There's a little latch. I guess I can move it over slightly. Okay. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip that latch forward or up, and then we can go ahead and pull that cable out. Same thing with these two. So we got the keyboard backlight and the keyboard cable here. So we're going to flip those latches and pull those out as well. Come on. It's hard to do this and try and get it on camera. Normally I would have this laying on my desk. Okay, there we go. We got the keyboard cable out. Yeah, let me rotate this and do it so it's easier for me. Oh, it works this way, you guys can see. All right, so we'll flip this latch and there we go. Okay, so we got all of these out. Here you can see the trackpad cable, keyboard backlight, and keyboard. All right, I'm gonna have to clean all this dust out. So the fan is really noisy. We're most likely going to have to replace the fan. I don't see an easy way to get this fan out. It looks like I'm gonna have to take the whole fan out of here. And then we're also gonna have to replace the battery and the wireless card. So looks like I'm actually gonna have to take apart this entire computer. So because it's pretty dusty, I'm gonna actually clean this out and I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So I cleaned it out. All right, here you can see it's a lot cleaner here now. All right, the fan's a lot cleaner. It looks like the fan's probably still gonna have issues. I don't know if I can actually. Oh yeah, I can definitely hear. So the fan is making some weird grinding noises. So we're most likely going to have to replace that. Then we're also gonna have to replace the battery. The battery, let's see, I'll zoom in here and see if I can show it. So you have the HP spare part number here, all right, 916811-855. So that's the HP spare part number. Let's see if we can get the battery model number itself. Oh, they taped this down. Let's go ahead and remove these. So let's flip these latches up. All right, pull this cable out. And let's go ahead and try and peel this up. You want to be careful with these cables. You don't want to smash this fold crease too much, right? So I'm trying to grab away from the crease, and we're just going to peel this up, slowly pulling it back this way as we pull up to try and keep the cable flat. All right, so here we go. All right, and I'm going to hold this so I don't accidentally pull the cable too quick. There we go. So here we got the battery model number is BK03XL. So that's the battery model number itself. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this, well actually we'll leave this out for now. Let's see, so we got the volume buttons here, the headphone jack, and the LED here is on a separate board. Let me zoom out a little bit more. All right, and then we got the power button here is on a separate board as well. So first thing we're going to do actually, after opening this, usually to be safe you'd want to remove the battery first, but I didn't do that. It's kind of, you have to actually remove these three things before you can even remove the battery. But anyways, let's go ahead and remove the battery now. Again, keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. All right, so we got 4 screws along the top of the battery. I'll just remove all of those. If this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel so that others can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. Alright, if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little bit to the channel so that I can continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so my desk is getting covered with a bunch of screws and stuff, so We'll see how this goes. Hopefully I'll be able to continue recording. I might have to just zoom out on everything. All right, so once we got all the screws out, the 4 on the top and the 3 on the bottom, we're just gonna lift up from the upper area here and pull straight up. There you go, it goes at an angle like this, and then you can pull the battery forward like that. So there we go, we got the battery out. Again, we're going to have to replace this battery. It'll show like 50% and then it'll just suddenly shut off. So the battery is actually bad. Okay, so now we're going to have to remove all these other cables. I actually just got a package at the door, so I'll be back in a bit. See you guys soon. All right, I'm back. Okay, let me zoom out here because we're gonna have to remove everything on this. So this computer has a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive here. You can upgrade this to a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. So we're gonna flip this latch up here, okay? We're gonna pull this cable out. All right, somewhat stuck. Just like this. All right, I'm running out of room here to kind of work, so we'll see what I can do. All right, so once you got this disconnected, we're gonna lift the hard drive out. This rubber is the only thing kind of holding it in place. So normally they have this rubber tab, but I always find it doesn't work too well, so I have to kind of go from both sides here and then kind of pull it up just like this. All right, and slowly, carefully lift it out. There we go. Some dust stuck there. So this is a hard drive. All right, if you're putting an SSD, you don't need to worry about all this foil. They put so much foil on here, but anyways, you would take this rubber piece and transfer it over to the SSD. You would also have to peel up this foil here, but you want to be very careful because they this cable is trapped underneath. I don't want to peel it up and then end up damaging it, so yeah, but anyways, you would slowly peel this up, and here you can see this cable is attached underneath there, okay, and then you would pull this connector off. It's just a standard SATA connector. I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to risk damaging it. All right, I mean, it's not too risky, but because the customer doesn't have an issue with their hard drive and they didn't ask me to do anything with the hard drive, I don't want to mess with it and then end up damaging anything additional. All right, so we're just gonna set the hard drive aside for now. Okay, so now we're going to have to remove all the other connectors on the motherboard. So right now, after removing the battery, it's always a good idea to open up the computer and then press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. This will drain any powers from the capacitors and make it a lot less risky to work on. All right, I probably should have mentioned that earlier. For most people that don't know what they're doing, there's a lot more risk. But anyways, I'll show you here. So the main reason you want to hold the power button is if you're going to mess with this LCD LVDS connector or this connector here. Most of the other stuff isn't very risky to work on, as long as you know what you're doing and you don't drop anything conductive like metal or something on the board. So anyways, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and disconnect the power cable. Ribbon cable. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so this is the ribbon cable for the power button. We're going to flip that latch up, and then we're going to disconnect that, and then we're going to flip the latch up over here. Okay, and then we're going to pull this back as well. Here you can see this cable is attached to the fan. Same method as before. Try and keep the cable as flat as possible and then just pull it up like that. So we're going to set that aside. Okay, so now that we've drained the power, we can go ahead and disconnect the LCD LVDS connector. Flip this latch up just like the other ones. Right, now that you've done that, you can go ahead and pull this connector out just like this. All right, it's also held in with a little adhesive here, so we are going to have to peel that up. So let's go ahead and peel the adhesive off from the fan. I don't know if this HP spare part model is for the fan or for something else, but I'll have to look it up later. So there's this HP spare part number, L39181-001. Sorry, L39181-001. And then they also have a fan model number here. It's really hard to read. At least I think that's the fan model number. Looks like, oh, you can't even see it in there. Okay, DES5, okay, DES551205 WQOT. I don't know if that's a 0 or an O. Yeah, the O and the 0 look the same, so it's hard to say. All right, but anyways, that's the fan model number. Okay, and all right, let's go ahead and start removing other components here. So we got the, oops, I'm getting text messages right now. But, all right, so we got the DC jack charge port. It looks like they put this metal bracket underneath the motherboard. So that's kind of stupid. Now to remove this DC jack, you'd have to remove the motherboard. Anyways, to remove the DC jack charge port, there's this connector here. I'm just going to use my fingernails on the wings of this connector here and just wiggle it to pull it back. All right, I'm getting a whole bunch of calls right now. All right, then we got this connector here. This one is most likely for like the webcam or the microphone. Flip that latch up and we're going to pull this back as well. All right. Oh man, why am I getting so many calls and messages right now? All right, then you got the wireless antennas here. We're gonna have to disconnect those as well. Let me get rid of that call real quick. Okay, oops. I didn't mean to actually focus on it. All right, so then we got the antennas here. So we got this labeled number 2. There's a small little 2 on the wireless card and a small 1 there. So anyways, we're gonna pop these antennas up. You just wanna go from the tails. Okay. Let's see if I can show this. So you want to go from the tail and then just pull it straight up, just like that. All right. You can use tweezers. It might make it easier for you if you don't have fingernails. But let's go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Just pull that straight up. Sorry, I can't get it in the camera because I'm trying to grab it. But there we go. So we got those 2 antennas out. Now let's go ahead and undo all these screws. So you have this connector here as well for the speaker up here, so we're going to undo that as well. Same thing, the wings, just wiggle as you kind of pull it, and there we go. Okay, let's zoom out and start removing all the screws from the motherboard here. Okay, so we got, let's see here, we got 1 screw down here for the fan. We're going to remove that one first. Right, again, keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths, and if you mix them up, you can damage your computer. So I'm just going to go in rows like this, so we're going to consider this as all in one row. Okay, so we got 1. I just put them in that layout on my desk so that I can remember where they came from. 2 and 3. All right, then we got another one over here, so we'll put that slightly further over to the right. All right, then we got another one here and 1 up here, so we'll count those as the same row. 1, 2. All right, then you got the screw holding on the wireless card, so let's go ahead and remove that as well. These are all using the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. All right, and then we got 3 more going down this side, so let's remove those 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, hopefully that's enough that we can pull out the motherboard. If yours has a little slot thing holding in the SD card slot, you want to make sure to remove that, of course. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can lift this up now. You can see it's kind of lifting. It looks like we're gonna have to kind of swing it over. It might make it easier to remove this speaker assembly first. So there's, looks like 3 screws here. So let's go ahead and remove those 3 screws. So there's 1 up here, 1 here, and then 1 more over here. I don't have to actually remove this speaker assembly. I'm just taking the screws out so that it lifts up slightly, and I think that will make it easier. If it doesn't, if I have to remove this, then I'll remove it, but right now it looks like I don't have to. It looks like we can kind of lift this up and just kind of move it out of the way a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead now and lift the motherboard up. So get this cable out of the way. Okay, I'm gonna actually unroute this cable here so that it's not in my way. There we go. Oops. And then we're going to go ahead and lift up from the fan side first. Okay, so I'm going to kind of lift this up. Grab the board here, slowly lifting it. Make sure that the charge port DC jack connectors out of the way as well. And now that we got it at enough angle, we can pull the whole thing out. So here you can see it's also dusty under here, so we're gonna have to clean this as well. Looks like there's also an M.2 SSD in here. So let's take a look at that. Let me set this stuff out of the way. Okay, let me move that aside. We'll put this down here. Okay, where can I put this here? Okay, so I'm gonna clean the dust out of here real quick, and then I'll be back. But let me do that real quick. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So let's go ahead and remove this M.2 SSD and see if we can figure out what type of SSD it is. You don't want to put too much pressure on this board while it's out. As you can see, it's not flat or even on the ground on the table. All right, so now that we got that up, let's go ahead and peel this piece off. Excuse me. All right, peel this off slowly here. There we go. Now that we got that out, we can go ahead and pull this back. You can most likely put a PCIe NVMe SSD in here if you wanted. I don't know if the BIOS will block it or anything, but this is a Intel Optane SSD, which is usually a PCIe NVMe type of memory. Actually, you can actually see here on the back, oops, it says PCI Express. So yep, NVM Express. So yeah, so you can install a PCIe NVMe SSD in there. This is kind of more like cache storage memory. It just helps boost it a little bit. But anyways, let's go ahead and set this aside for a little bit. Let's see if the RAM is upgradable underneath this. We're gonna have to also check the wireless card here. So now that we got it all out, let's go ahead and pull this wireless card out. Wow, this wireless card's kind of stuck in there. I'm going to use the little wings of the wireless card here. Actually, let me see if I can zoom in a bit. Okay. I'm going to use the wings, and I'm going to just kind of walk it out. If it will come out, it doesn't look like it wants to. Okay, it looks like, is it held in with adhesive? Oh, there's adhesive holding it. There's adhesive in between these two layers. That's kind of dumb. Okay, so now let's pull that out. There we go. So there's a little piece of adhesive right there. Here we have the wireless card. You can see it's an Intel 9560 NGW, all right, 9560 NGW, and you can see all the model numbers there, Anatel, and all of that, all right. So if you need any of that information, hopefully it will be useful to you. Usually I don't pull all of these things out completely like this. All right, so the wireless card, it does go back in at an angle like that. As you can see, it stays up. That's upside down how most connectors are. But anyways, we'll stick that back down. Okay, and let's see about the RAM. So let me actually brush a little bit of this dust off. All right, that's kind of a pain too. This model's kind of a pain to work on. So they taped this down, and then they taped it down here as well. I don't know which tape will be easier to remove. Probably this one. So I'm gonna peel this up because a little bit of it's already, peeling out. You zoom in, zoom out more. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna peel off this layer because a lot of it's already kind of coming up, and it's easier to peel out. Probably going to use some glue stick to stick this back down because the adhesive doesn't stay attached, as you can see. Okay, there we go. So now we got that removed. Okay, now let's go ahead and remove this metal cover. I usually will just get my fingernail or a plastic pry tool underneath here, the corner, and there we go. We can lift it up. We're going to do the same thing with the other corner. Okay, oh, this one's super low to the ground. There we go. Okay, and we're just gonna lift this and see if the RAM is replaceable or not, and yes it is. Okay, so this kind of sucks because they put this dumb adhesive strips on both sides, so it makes it tough to lift this thing up. So it looks like we should have actually peeled this side out because this side could have acted as a flap to hold it in place, but I don't know, it's kind of tough. Let's see, I'm gonna peel this adhesive up by pulling up I'm holding the board down here, and then I'm pulling up to peel out the adhesive. There we go. So you can see there's 2 slots for RAM. We're going to pull the 2 tabs aside to get the RAM out here. And here you can see it's PC4 2666V. So you can put any PC4 2666V RAM. You can get 2 16 gig sticks if you want. But yeah, so if I were upgrading this, I would put probably 2 16 gigs, and then I would put a M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. Though having 16 gigs of RAM total is plenty already, so you can actually just get another 8 gig stick that matches this, and you should be okay. Alright, for most people, 16 gigs is more than enough. Alright, so let's go ahead and stick this piece back down. So just get all of these things lined back up. Okay. Make sure you get it all lined up. You don't want to force it down when it's not lined up. Okay. Just like that. You might have to hold it up and kind of help put some pressure underneath so it doesn't flex the motherboard too much. Okay. Got this out. So there we go. And then just make sure everything is clipped back into place. There we go. We're going to tape that back down, and that adhesive actually sticks well. So that's good. We'll stick this adhesive down as well, and stick this adhesive down as well. Alright, so it looks like the adhesive holds back on pretty well. You don't really need to add any glue or anything. You got the fan here. We're going to see if we can repair this fan actually. So let's go ahead and attempt that. So let's disconnect the fan connector here. It's upside down for me to work on. Let's put it this way, it might be easier. Okay, so I'm going to use my fingernails here to walk this connector out, just using the wings like all the other connectors. Right, just keep walking it slowly, and there you go. Then we're going to go ahead and peel this adhesive up. Alright, so on this fan, there's actually these small screws here. So we're going to remove those. There might be one hidden underneath here, but I'm not sure. So I might have to peel up this foam stuff. But anyways, for that, we're going to have to use the PH0 or JS0 screwdriver again. So let's switch back over, and let's go ahead and remove the screws here. All right, so we got this one. Man, I'm getting a lot of calls right now. This video is probably going to cost me a lot of business. All right, let's go ahead and get this screw down here out. Second one. All right, there's a third one up here, and again, I don't know if there's a 4th screw under here. It doesn't feel like it, but I don't know. Let's see if we can peel up this foam. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything under there, but let's go ahead and peel this foam thing up just to be sure. Right, you want to try and keep this foam intact. It helps keep a seal around the fan. Okay, so just peel it like that, and yep, nothing there. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this back down. There we go. Okay, so how do we get this fan out then? Looks like I don't really see much else holding this fan in place. Am I really going to have to undo the heatsink just to get this fan out? Okay, so this piece is moving here. Oh man, I'm getting a billion calls. Alright, I'm gonna have to pause the video, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, I was getting a bunch of phone calls and messages, so let's see. I think we were trying to get this fan out, so let's see. This part moves separately, so what we want to see is if we can separate the fan from the rest of this. And it looks like this piece is taped on here. Okay, so alright, so we flip this over. It looks like this adhesive might be what's holding the fan down, so let's go ahead and peel this piece up. You want to be careful with this, but they put foam in between both layers. Oh man. Okay, let's see. So we're actually going to be kind of damaging this foam, but it is what it is. Okay, it looks like there's also a little clip here that's going to hold it in place, so we're going to have to pull this back slightly as we kind of lift this up. We might be able to kind of lift it and pull it over that way, but let's see. Again, we might have to take the heatsink off. depending on how this thing is built. Let's see here. So we're gonna lift up this metal bracket slightly and see if we can kind of move this at all or not. Oh, yeah, I think we're going to have to remove the bracket because the way they designed this with this piece here. But let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try and pull this metal piece out. So this is a little metal tab that you kind of have to pull out. I'm going to use a small flathead screwdriver to see if I can do this. Right. Get in there. There we go. All right, so we're bending this metal piece slightly outwards. I don't know if you can see that. And now let's see if we can pull up the fan or if it's stuck in there. Man, it seems like it's stuck. So yeah, we're most likely going to have to take the heatsink off. That's a dumb design. And then they also put some tape here. So we're gonna have to peel up this tape as well. Okay. So now that we got that, you can actually see that this fan is separating here. But again, they trapped it between the motherboard and this metal piece, so it's kind of, oh, here we go. We can actually rotate, oops, sorry. Can actually rotate it outwards here like this. All right, so there we go. Now that we've rotated this outwards, let's see if we can go ahead and lift the fan up. So it looks like we rotated it. We lifted this side over the heatsink part here, and then we're rotating it outwards. And now we got the fan open like this. Let's see if we can take these fan propeller blades off. Nope, it doesn't look like it. So it looks like this fan we're gonna have to replace. It doesn't look like we can get that out. There's a lot of dust in here, so we're gonna go ahead and clean this up. Okay, but most likely we're going to have to replace this fan. I'm gonna have to get a replacement, and then we'll go from there. But actually, after moving the fan up and down like this, it's a lot quieter. So, or maybe it's just because it's not. It's still a little bit rough feeling. Okay, so let's see here. We're gonna rotate this back over. Let's see if we can push these propeller blades off. I'm gonna use my fingernails at the edges here of the part where it's round like this, so around this piece, and see if I can push the fan propellers out. Looks like it's holding really strong, so I don't think so. Yeah, nope, that's not gonna happen. So we're gonna have to look for a replacement fan here and put this back. Again, this rotates over. We have to make sure this ends up underneath the motherboard here, and this piece as well. So, but it looks like we can rotate it here, as you can see, like that. Okay, and then once you get it rotated properly, just get it to drop into place, and there we go. Let's go ahead and lift this back up. So again, we're lifting from this side, and then we're kind of rotating it. We're getting this little piece past the motherboard, and then rotating it out this way. I'm gonna have to bend this metal piece back a little bit. Okay, so this piece I bent back a little just to make sure it's lined up right. Again, we're gonna get all these pieces back under, slowly rotating this, right? And then make sure to get this lined up with that piece. And we should be okay now, looks good. Let's flip this back over, and let's go ahead and get these screws back in here. Okay, so this just lines up with that. And let's go ahead and get these screws back in. So it looks like I'm gonna have to order a replacement fan and replacement battery and possibly replacement wireless card. So we're gonna get this, oh, that screw doesn't wanna really tighten. It looks like that thing is stripped the plastic. Okay. Oh, it looks like all of them are like that. Okay. We'll get all 3 screws back in. There we go. All right, so we got that back in. Sorry if I did any of this stuff out of view. All right. Let's go ahead and plug the fan connector back in. We're basically just going to do everything in reverse now. Oops, did I put the fan connector on the wrong side? This fan connector needs to be on the other side of the motherboard, so I screwed up. Let's see if we can slip it between here without having to take the fan back out. Okay, looks like we can. Get the connector back through there. Right, that was on accident. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and plug the fan connector back in. They actually marked this with a dot, but you want to see where those pins are visible through it, and then just pinch that through. We got the connector back in. All right, and you can go ahead and stick that tape back down wherever. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and put the Intel Optane stick back in, the PCIe NVMe SSD. Get this back in. Okay, and then we're gonna line that up and get the screw back. Hopefully you guys were making sure to keep yourself grounded when working on this thing. You don't want static electricity to fry your computer. Okay. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. Stick that down. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to do this twice. So I'm gonna have to put everything back in and then take it all back out again. But anyways, so we got a complete disassembly minus the screen on this. Let's go ahead and take this. All right, they built this model upside down. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we have to tilt this over. Let's go ahead and move the speaker back out of the way. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead again and put this back in. You have to put it at this angle like that. Okay, make sure that the DC jack charge port wire is out of the way. Once you get it all lined up and that little piece down there is lined up, we can slowly drop it back down. Okay, looks like everything is good, lined up, holding into place, good. All right, we can go ahead and put the speakers back down into place here. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, put back the 3 speaker screws here. So get that screw in. Actually, let's go ahead and put this wire back in first. There we go. Take that back down. There we go. Let's get the speaker screw in. All right. 2. Oh, my phone's running out of storage space. I'm gonna have to empty the trash soon. There we go. So we got the 3 speaker screws in. Let's go ahead and put back the motherboard screws. They actually have little arrows that point to where the screws go. So one here. Here, one down here. I'm gonna reassemble this pretty quick because we're running out of time. Wireless card screw, get that in. Okay. Then we got the 2 screws, this one here, this one down here. All right, we got the other screw here, right here. Got the 3 going down here. This one, this one. Then we got this one. We got the 1 fan screw here. Don't forget to reattach all the connectors. You got the LCD LVDS connector here. Get that in, put the latch over, speaker connector, get that in, pinch together. Right, we got the DC jack charge port connector. get that lined up. Okay, pinch that together. Wireless antennas, might have to use some tweezers to do this, but let's see. We got number one, make sure it's lined up. The way you know it's lined up is if you kind of move your finger over the top, it stays in place. Then you can go ahead and push it down, right? Number two, same thing, put it into place. Tuck those wires, oops, I pushed it back out. Tuck those wires back down underneath the board there. Okay, don't forget this. I think this is for the touch screen or the camera and stuff. All right, get that in. Sorry, I'm not doing this close up, but I'm running out of time. All right, so let's go ahead and get the power button connector in. Just make sure the latch is up, get the cable in, then push it back down. Same thing, latches up, cable's in, latch down, stick this back down. Okay, now we got the battery, I think. Actually, let's go ahead and put the hard drive in. Okay, make sure the latch is up. Get that cable in. There we go. And put that latch down. Go ahead and push these rubber pieces back in. Sometimes it might not go in right. Let's go ahead and make sure to get that in. Yeah, these are kind of a pain. Rubber pieces in and push it down. Why is this sticking up like that? Get it. Shove that in. Okay. Hard drive's in. Now we need the battery here. Okay, battery in, goes down at an angle like this. Make sure everything's lined up. Push that back in. Let's get all the 4 screws at the top in and then the 3 screws at the bottom. Like that. 3 screws at the bottom. We're almost there. The difficult part is putting these cables back in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a proper angle to show this, but it's basically the same as all the other cables. Just get them all lined up. This battery also acts as the BIOS or CMOS battery. So after removing it, when you first turn on the computer, it's going to take a while to boot up. It's going to be actually loading up the BIOS. So you want to be patient. All right, let's go ahead and put this back in, latch that down, get this cable in. Okay, make sure it's in all the way, and then latch that down. Stick that adhesive down, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this piece. Again, I don't know how I'm gonna show this on camera. But make sure all these latches are up, of course. Okay, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to show this on camera, but basically, oops, where did this come from? Oh, one of those rubber pieces fell off here. Does it go on this way? Yep. Okay, this rubber piece was falling off. Okay, so you're going to basically get this cable, line that up. Again, I don't think, well, I guess you can see it on camera. Okay. Get that cable into place, line it up. You want to use the blue tab to kind of help hold it, and then flip that latch over. Oh, I can't hold up the I can't hold this up while doing it. So, I mean, you get the idea. I have to do this while it's down, otherwise it's just gonna fold back over. So, get that cable in. Once you get the cable in, oh man, this is, let me see if I can get something in here to kind of prop it up to show this. Maybe I'll put some pieces of these tape rolls here. Okay, that might work. So get this in. Running out of time. All right, and then flip that latch down. Sorry, my phone overheated actually. So anyways, we got that cable in, so we're gonna do the same thing with the other two. Just get that lined up. All right, get the cable in, push that latch down, right? And then the last one here, it goes the other direction. Get that cable in. Go, make sure it's all lined up, and then flip that latch down as well. There we go. And then let's go ahead and put this back on. Let's take these things of tape out of the way. Okay, and let's zoom back out. Okay, so now all you gotta do is get everything snapped back in. Okay, snap it all back into place, just like that. Snippety, snappity, snippety, snappity. Right, just line it all up and click it back in. There we go. Oh, get that pop back out. There we go. All right, and then you want to make sure it powers up, or you could have done that before you snapped everything in, but make sure it powers back up. Again, because we disconnected the battery, the BIOS has been reset. So we turned it on. It's going to take a while, but eventually it will pop up with the BIOS. There you go. And then just press enter to reboot and we should be okay. It looks like it's booting. Let's see if the fan is still making weird noises. Yeah, the fan's still, we're gonna have to replace that fan. Okay, so after you reboot it, it's gonna restart itself a few times. Just be patient, let it do its thing. And there you go, HP is booting up, so we should be good to go. All right, then we're just gonna put back all the screws. Again, make sure everything is snapped into place, that there's no gaps or anything around the edges, but that should be it. And yeah, I basically showed how to replace the fan and everything else, so I'm most likely not going to make a part 2 of this, but that's pretty much it. We'll wait for this thing to completely boot. Thanks for watching. Again, if this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their computers. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to make these videos for a living. I actually do these computer repairs for a living, but these kind of things, as I make more and more of these videos, people are able to figure out how to fix the devices on their own. So I'm slowly killing my business. So hopefully you guys can help out if it helps you save some money. All right. Anyways, thanks for watching. You're welcome to stay as I let this thing finish booting up, and then I'm going to put all the screws back in and all the little rubber feet and everything. But yep, other than that, that's all there is to this. All right, so let's see what's going on. This thing's taking a long time to boot. I highly recommend upgrading these computers to SSDs. I would put an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD and just get rid of the spinning drive, or use the spinning drive as like storage, backup storage. Like keep a copy of additional stuff on that storage. Don't put important things that's just there on its own, because a lot of times the spinning drive will fail and then you lose all your data. I've had so many people tell me that their backup drive failed, but it's not really a backup, it's more like additional storage. So yep, keep that in mind. Again, I don't know why this thing's taking so long to boot. Maybe I'll just pause the video and then resume it once it's done booting. But yeah. Actually, let me go ahead and see if I can put the screws in while we're waiting for this thing. So that's going to keep spinning. I'm going to go ahead and put the screws in. So since I'm doing it upside down, I'm going to have to go opposite direction. So right, left is right, right is left. Okay, let's tighten that screw in all the way. And I don't know why it's taking so long to boot, but it is. Right, other screw here. Sorry, it's focusing on my hand. Oh yeah, it's booting. I see the little spinning circle mouse thing now. All right, let's go ahead and put the little rubber piece back in. I like to look at it and kind of match it up, put back the same one where I got it. So you can actually see on the bottom the imprint of the writing and stuff and where the screw used to be. All right, so there you can see it actually booted up. It's showing the user account thing. And it's actually logging in right now, but yeah. All right, let's go ahead and put back the last of the screws, and we should be good to go. Sorry, I know it's out of view, but we're putting this screw in. Oh, don't forget the little plastic piece that we popped out. All right, and there we go. Let's see, we got this. Okay. Last two screws. And yeah, the fan's still making noises. Last one, and that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching again. Hopefully it helped you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this spike.